Skies all open wide, geese go high and over. Oh, now you're a beachcomber, a fistful of sandfire, sea, lavender. See you next year.
Welcome to the Deepdale podcast. It's April, and it's like 3 days before we can welcome you back. It's very exciting. By the time you hear this, we probably are welcoming you back because I've got to edit it and put it out there and stuff. But right now it's Friday, and lots of you are arriving on Monday, which is really exciting. We're standing up on Woodview. I'm with Chris. Hello, Chris.
Hi, Jason. How you doing?
And we just thought we'd have a quick chat about sort of looking forward to seeing you all. And at the moment we're looking up. It's a sort of it's can't quite decide what sort of day. It's not actually raining, but it's not massively warm, and the sun isn't shining, but it's not an unpleasant day.
It'll be shining next week.
It will be. You reckon we're going to have perfect weather?
Yep, Monday sun comes out.
Excellent. That's good. So you've heard that from Chris. I promise you that is not guaranteed, in case anybody's thinking, oh, fantastic. But we do have our COVID guarantee. We just can't guarantee the weather, sadly, but there you go.
No.
So how are you feeling? Are you excited about seeing everybody?
Yeah, absolutely. It is going to be exciting. Everyone we've spoken to on the phone is very pleased to be able to get out finally and drive their camper vans and motorhomes. Some of them for the first time, having bought a new van last year, they haven't had a chance to use it yet. So yeah, it's really exciting, and I know the team are raring to go. So yeah.
So there's no shower blocks and toilets for the moment. We're not allowed those until probably the 17th of May, if the roadmap stays still. But so it's people with their own facilities for the moment.
It is,
for the next 5 weeks
they need to have
or
their
so.
own facilities with them. We are going to have the outdoor showers and the outdoor washing up sinks on a socially distanced basis open. But yes. They need to have their
and
own
the outdoor
stuff.
showers they're hot.
Oh yeah,
they're very nice. But for the rest of people on the campsite, it's better if you're wearing something when you have a shower.
Yeah, something.
A mankini or something equally fitting.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I would go along with that. That would be fair.
Excellent. And of course the outside disposal points for chemical waste and that sort of stuff, I think. And we still encourage you to put your grey waste, your washing up water and stuff like that on our hedges, which are looking not really lovely actually. They're really filling out nicely.
Spring has sprung, so there's definitely buds and blossom out on the campsite. It's looking really good.
Yeah, no, really.
So we're just going to do our final grass cut over the next couple of days, just ready for everyone on Monday, and then we'll look forward to seeing whoever's going to turn up. I think there's going to be a number on Monday and then some more on Tuesday.
Yeah, and you can probably hear in the distance as various tradesmen doing various last minute fixings. So we've got Ashley working on a fence, and some guys from GB line marking putting in our new zebra crossing, so a perfect photo opportunity for anybody who wants to do an Abbey Road moment at Deepdale. There's it's sort of a hive of activity with lots of stuff going on at the moment, just while we sort of prepare for the first customers to come back. And it's been a bit of a crazy winter really, with all the stuff that we've got done. So re-roofing buildings and re-tarmacking the road, and it just feels like we haven't really stood still while you guys haven't been here. But it is going to be really lovely to show you what we've done and to welcome you back. So it's going to be great. Well, lovely to chat with you, man.
That's all right.
I know that
Good
Georgie is going to join us for a quick chat because she hasn't been on for a while, and Nathan and I are going to do our farm chat. So fantastic. Thanks a lot, and I hope the phones aren't too manic.
They are pretty busy at the minute, so I'm going to hot foot my way back down there now.
Help Sarah in the office. But, that'd be good. Yeah. So cool. Nice to see you.
Yeah.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Farm Chat with
Jason and Nathan are the dynamic duo from the wonderful Deepdale Farm on the North Norfolk Coast.
Will you tell me who you are, please?
Hello, I'm Wee Jock Poopong McPlop.
That's a good name, like that.
Yeah.
That must be difficult to spell out on the phone when you're trying to buy insurance, though.
It's a toilet cleaner mentioned in Blackadder at one point. Wee Jock Poopong McPlop.
So, hello, Nathan. How are you?
Hello, I'm good, thank you.
We're standing in the overflow campsite, come car park, come wildflower border of Parsons Bush.
It's the bottom of a field.
It's the bottom of a field, and it's
Yeah.
it's going to be very pretty. Did you say the borage is coming up?
Yeah, we've got lots of borage coming up, which is
Very exciting.
which is top stuff for the bees, and
It's a beautiful flower. It's just like, I love the fact that it stands out completely from the green background.
yeah. And
It's
just
really
up from here, we've got loads, and with this we've got a hectare just above this field, which is absolutely chock full of clover. So there's going to be masses and masses of crimson.
There's that peas
clover
I see
and
coming up
peas.
as well. The peas are coming.
There might be vetch. There's lots and lots of legumes in there, and loads of lovely flowering plants. So this will be absolutely covered in bees before too long.
Yeah, that's going to be lovely, isn't it? Really lovely.
Yep.
So, how are you? It's we've had quite an interesting week, really.
Yeah, it's been fun. Lots of it's sort of bits inside, bits outside. We've got some bits of work that we need to redo on the farm. We have some fertility building clover lays, these sort of clover and grass mixes, some of which we need to plant them again because we did them too late last year. So we're sort of adding it to our little list of mistakes that we make as we go.
We never make mistakes. We make learning opportunities.
We do make learning opportunities. We fail forward, yeah?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
But genuinely, it's really good to sort of, we don't want to be making too many mistakes, but let's just be honest about this, and we sort of share this stuff, and we do try and learn something from it. But we are redoing some of the work that we did a little bit too late last year, so that we have some really, really good coverage on our fields. Lots and lots of clover fixing nitrogen, building fertility, building organic matter, and it's all the start of sort of basically the continuation of the journey that we've got on this regenerative route, improving soil quality.
And those year one clover lays as such they're going on to sort of old carrot and old potato land, aren't they? Sort of root vegetable land, which is really screwed up the soil, I think is the polite way to put it, a technical term.
Old carrot, old potato land, and where we've had carrots in, and we have loads and loads of straw is used on the fields to protect the carrots over winter, because basically our fields are used like a giant refrigerator to store the carrots for anything up to sort of 4 or 5 months basically over the winter, and that straw then all gets incorporated into the soil. So we have to grow nitrogen fixing crops with legumes like clover that basically fix atmospheric nitrogen, because that nitrogen is then needed by the soil biology that then breaks the straw down. It's this cycle. We basically have to provide the soil biology with a bit of food so that it can do its work, and then the straw in turn breaks down, and that actually creates a source of nitrogen, a source of nutrition for the crop that we have in there next. So it's this ongoing process.
And that was one of our first big learning lessons, wasn't it? Because there we were with all the straw being reincorporated when you first started a year and a bit ago, and then one of our first sort of reasonably innocent questions was, so what do we need to put on the thing to break down all that straw?
Yeah.
And tons of nitrogen, just chuck it on, it'll be fine. And we were like,
yeah,
right, yeah, no, there's got to be a better way than this.
Yeah, indeed.
Surely there has to
Indeed,
be. And,
yeah. We're working on it, and actually what we're doing, so that we can baseline all this stuff, and so that we actually have a sort of an understanding of where we're at right now, including the before part of the picture, is we've just sent a bunch of soil samples off from 10 different fields across the farm, and those are all being tested for things like soil organic matter and soil carbon and nutrient levels of various different trace elements. And the reason that we do that is because we do want to walk into the middle of a field with a spade and basically just see how the soil feels, how it breaks down, how it looks. There's a technique called a visual soil assessment, which basically just look at it. But also,
has it got worms?
Yeah. It's stuff like this. And is it a nice dark colour? Is it got humus in it? But also the other part of this, so that we have an understanding of what we're doing in the future and how successful we've been with all these practices, is we get it tested in a lab. and some fairly sort of refined techniques which will basically give us a sheet of data for various different of our fields, so that we can understand, we come back and we run this test again in a few years' time, what progress have we made with organic matter, with soil carbon. And this is a bunch of the stuff that we're much more interested in future, is what potential do we have across the farm to really sort of sequester carbon across the farm. So it's been a really, really interesting week for all this.
Yeah, and I've challenged you and Chris, haven't I, that we're gonna try and make Deepdale a carbon negative business by the across all of the businesses by the end of 2025. And one of the big things that we're working at the moment is how much carbon can we kind of draw into our soils over those 5 years as we improve those soils, because there must be a point where the soils are kind of at their best. They're not going to hold any extra carbon, but we are going from a pretty low base, which is why we're doing the soil testing, and we want to keep doing that as we go forward. And then hopefully, just like big businesses buy carbon credits, part of our carbon negativism will be to kind of basically store some of the carbon that we produce in our soils by spending money on things like cover crops and clover lays and stuff, so that we can really make them work. So they work on multiple levels, improving the soil for our crops, but also improving our soils for holding carbon, which can go against other things we do.
And we can also be doing it with our hedgerows, which we're getting into a major program of restoration of our hedgerows over the next couple of years, with our woodland. This is just another one of the benefits that we have, is basically being able to sort of draw down and store carbon in our hedgerows, in our woodland, and in our fields. And we're a very, very long way off being in any sort of situation where we reach the maximum amount that we can be capturing. Because,
a long way.
But you've got to start somewhere.
You have got to start somewhere. That is very true. But it's going to be exciting doing all the hedgerows and stuff, and walking through them yesterday with a visitor to the farm. It was nice to actually have somebody visiting and actually be able to do a walk on the farm and explain to them. And I think the thing I like about doing this farm chat and also doing those sorts of meetings is I think it really helps you and I understand the massive journey we've taken in a incredibly short time. And we've been in the middle of it, so often we don't quite appreciate how much stuff that we've done in that period of time. But it's really helpful when other people go, wow, that's an awful lot in a year, you know, and then you kind of go, oh yeah, it kind of is. And then you kind of work out things. But I don't think I've felt rushed in this. I think it's just that because we were presented with so many different collective things that forced us to make a massive change, Dad's death, flooding, COVID, BPS changes, the future of elms, all of that kind of stuff. Everything sort of collided at the same time, and all of these really fascinatingly useful people like the Norfolk Rivers Trust and people like that, who kind of came out of the woodwork and started chatting to us and giving us wonderful amounts of time. Actually all of those things have come together in a sort of perfect storm to go, we have to make this massive direction change, and this is the way we go. And both of you and I, as we've said before, kind of come from a more of a tree hugging point of view than a conventional farmer point of view. So it's not so scary for us. But it's not so scary for us that we're making those changes, where I think to a conventional farmer who kind of came in, who would go, well, I haven't done it like that before. But for us, neither of us are coming from having that sense of kind of, well, we've always had to do it this way. Lots of things have changed all at once.
Yeah, I guess I don't have a lot of the sort of the it's actually, to be fair to a load of the farmers out there, there are loads of really, really progressive third, fourth, fifth generation farmers doing amazing things. And
we talk to many of them, and it's just fantastic.
Yeah, I think the thing that's really interesting is I've been listening to a conversation yesterday about basically how farms are going to be financing themselves in future, how farms stay in business. And one of the things that's really going to be changing is there's really going to be no more public money available, and basically farms are going to have to start to get quite creative with things like, how can we finance what we're doing with things like carbon capture, and with things like education and engagement and sort of other activities. And all of these things aren't necessarily going to suit all farms, but there's a lot of change coming down the line. And we've blogged already on the Deepdale Farm website. We have a blog, and there's a blog post on there which is basically about how farming is changing and what we're doing to prepare for that, and that goes into a lot more detail, so it's worth a look if you get to a computer basically to follow the blog to see what we're up to.
Yeah, do. And you've done some great little YouTube videos and stuff like that as well. So
yeah, we'll keep talking about all that sort of stuff. And actually, even just when it comes to the exciting times of people coming back onto the campsite, that we're able to sort of start to talk to people much more about just what is in the field right above you when you're in Woodview looking up the hill towards the woods. What is it that we're growing in the fields, why they're all looking a bit different, why we've got these banks of earth going down the middle of some of our biggest fields now, these beetle banks.
With Jason stuck in a quad bag halfway down them.
Yeah, less said about that better.
Well, nice to chat to you, man.
You too.
Yeah, it's not actually. We were out here yesterday and we were wearing hats and gloves, so this is significantly warmer.
It's not a howling gale now, which is an improvement.
No, and it's sort of thinking about raining, but can't really decide whether it can be bothered. Yeah. But you can hear the lawnmower in the background. You hear the beautiful bird song. It's lovely.
Yeah,
it's very nice. Cheers, man. Enjoy your lunch.
Thank you.
So we're on Zoom.
The new way of doing things now, isn't it?
Exactly. This is we haven't talked to you for ages, Georgie.
No, I'm probably going to sound really, really either really tinny or really husky. I don't know how it's going to come out. It could be a real win.
I think it's all right. I think it's okay. It's okay. And I've chatted with Chris up on Woodview, so we had the birds singing in the background, and I've chatted to Nathan, did our farm chat, standing up on Parsons Bush. So again, birds singing and the lawnmower in the background. And
the lawnmower. Well, that's good, because earlier when you suggested doing the podcast, obviously we were having some work done on the road, weren't we? We were having
our zebra crossing. We were going to have our Abbey Road moment with our new zebra crossing.
I have never ever, and I haven't. So if anyone does, it's not me. But I've never wanted to walk on paint so much in my life, because our motto is literally leave only footprints. And I'm just like, I really want to walk on that. But Jason would be very upset.
I hadn't thought about that. God, we could have done something about that. That would have been...
Oh, you missed a beat. It'll probably be on its way to being dry now as well.
No, it is.
I should have arranged to have everyone on the team here the day that it was done. We could all just tap danced over it.
Never mind. Missed the trick. We'll have to think of something else for the footprint.
We'll find another way to leave only footprints, I'm sure.
Yes, exactly. But now is the perfect sort of opportunity for people to have their photo taken, doing silly walks on a zebra crossing.
Exactly.
So, hey,
when the site is still quiet, because obviously as of Monday, we're recording this on the Friday before the 12th. So it's Friday the 9th today. And it's all going to kick off on the 12th of April. We're going to get really busy. We've got lots of check-ins. The shops and the pubs are back to be open. Yeah. And we're going to see some of our customers again, Jason.
I know. It's kind of, I'm really looking forward to it, but I'm also sort of weirdly apprehensive about it, because it's going to be so weird.
I feel like I've forgotten how to talk to people. So if you do see me and stop and say hi and I just go, blah, blah, blah,
that's why we thought we'd better get you on the podcast, so you remember how to speak to people before the public arrive.
It's a good call. It's a really good call, because earlier I've been doing so much COVID stuff trying to get things ready. Earlier I was looking at the letter B and I really couldn't work out if I'd written it backwards until I looked at my keyboard and saw that was so that made me feel better. But that's where it's got to. So I'm looking forward to the human interaction side of having people back. You have
thoroughly enjoyed all of the joyous cash flows and furlough payments. Poor Georgie started before Christmas 2019 in the admin job, and
I had a baptism of fire. Completely.
Well, you certainly had an awful lot to learn anyway, and then suddenly you had to learn about furlough payments and COVID grants.
I don't think I've done this job under normal circumstances, really, because I had so much support when I first started. The time that I really started doing it on my own was kind of February, March time, and obviously that's when all of this started. So I've not really done a normal admin year here. But
no, and now you're heading off to be a student.
I know it might be that I don't do a normal admin year, depending on how long the furlough lasts. So in September, I'm off to study at Anglia Ruskin University, which is really cool. I'm really excited about that.
What are you studying?
Pardon?
What are you going to study?
Psychology. So I'm going to be one of those people that everyone asks, oh, I had a dream last night. What does this mean?
So does that mean you might come back and be, do student summers with us, sort of?
Hey, maybe I could be like a dream reader or something for the hooker. Maybe that's something that we could start.
That's very good. Although if you've got a psychology degree, you might be a bit too close to the truth.
That would be bad. I just have to make it up. Just tell everyone, that's a really, really good dream. It means you're going to win lots of money.
Yeah, make everybody feel good, because that is the point of the hooker.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you can. I'm looking into the flames. Definitely.
Well, the hooker, which we've had to miss as well. The point of the hooker is to make me feel good. It's just me. It's to make people feel good. And obviously, we didn't get to have it this year, which was really sad.
Or last year.
No, or last year, but hopefully next year, along with all of our other events and stuff that we've got going on. So yeah,
fingers crossed. It's been a very weird 12 months, but it's been weird for everybody. So can't.
At least we know that we're all in the same boat.
We've done lots of stuff over the winter, so we like the road and the roofs and
the roof, kind of the rooms themselves. We've done. Oh my goodness! When I think about it, we've actually achieved a lot. We've done. Nearly all of the rooms in the backpackers hostel in the last 12 months have had a complete rehaul in terms of the furniture, the bed layout. For some of them, they've had a really good lick of paint. Some of them have almost been knocked down and rebuilt again with the cart sheds. We're definitely coming back stronger from COVID. But it's just a shame that we have to go through so much hell to get there.
Never mind. But the fields will look pretty. So we will do conservation, and there'll be beautiful outlooks for people who are staying on the campsite, and it will be
I think as well people are going to come back to this with a really renewed attitude, and a lot of people, one of the reasons that I'm going to university is because life is too short. You never know what's going to happen, as last year and so far this year has proved. So do what makes you feel good, do what feels right. For me, it's university. For some people, it will be traveling. Start with Deepdale. It's a good place to start.
Yeah, fantastic place to start. Break out that tent, break out that camper van.
Definitely.
Remind yourself how to drive. You probably haven't been very far recently.
No.
And only certain people were allowed to drive to Barnard Castle. So the rest of us were quite good and stayed local. And come and see us. So it was very nice to chat with you. Are you looking forward to kind of there being some sort of normality in terms of events and stuff?
Very much, and I'm really looking forward to the shops being open again around here, because I've missed seeing the friendly. Obviously, when you work here, to be fair, even when you visit, the friendly faces of the people that own the shops have been really, really sorely missed. I've occasionally seen some of them when they've been popping in to check on the shops and stuff, but nowhere near as much as I used to. I'm really looking forward to seeing them. I'm sure they're looking forward to being back. And just the general buzz and atmosphere of the site. I remember last Easter, what would have been the Easter weekend, it was beautiful weather, and I was on site, I think, doing something.
No doubt, cash flows or something.
Can't remember. Doing something. And I remember just how awful it felt, because normally it would have been such a busy weekend for us, and we were just there was no one here. So I cannot wait to get back to the atmosphere, the nice buzz.
We've got so the shop's open on the 12th. And then and the street food starts on that, because of course the cafe's closed. So Viv and Graham have retired, and so
good for them.
They're gonna. I think they're thoroughly going to enjoy that. And so the cafe's closed at the moment while we look for a new tenant. So Express Coffee is joining us every day from Monday.
They're going to be busy. I hope they know how busy they're going to be.
So they're bringing their little horse box, and it's going to be fab. They're going to have
Fantastic.
lots of lovely drinks and
Brilliant.
some tray bakes and stuff like that. And then they're going to be joined at various points over the next month and a half by various different street foods. So at the moment, we've definitely got the duck truck, and we're talking to a few others and trying to get all of those sorted. So that'll be good.
Great.
So we're going to launch that little program in a little while. But yeah, there'll definitely be tea and coffee available every day. So that'll be cool. Pop-up shops open on the 15th of April. So they change every 6 days. So every Wednesday is changeover day. So really looking forward to having the artisans back. They have had such a tough year because all the events have been cancelled and stuff, but really looking forward to having them back. So that'll be really lovely.
I bet they're looking forward to being back as well, especially in the nicest time of the year when it's, even on a quiet day, there are worse things to do than sit in the nice temperature and, chat with people in there.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good. And I think the coast is going to go from pretty much empty to full on the 12th, really. I think an awful lot of the holiday.
Yeah, I think we're going to go from 0 to 60 in not a very short amount of time. But I mean, the thing is, you can't blame people. It's a really, really beautiful part of the country, let alone whatever. It's a really, really nice place to come. And when we've got, everything's back open, you can come and you can use the toilet. And you can get some food and a drink with your family, and you don't have to worry that, am I allowed to be here? Have I travelled too far? Yeah, I mean, people will come.
Yeah, no, it's going to be nice. And then later in the summer, in June, we've got the Pantaloons are joining us with Pride and Prejudice, and then they're coming back in August with 2 plays. So they're coming back with The Tempest and with The Wind in the Willows. So that's so
I know that we had some really foul weather when they were last here.
Yeah,
but they for me are like iconic of summer. We always have them in the summery months when we're particularly busy, like June, maybe July and August. And so the fact that they're going to be here is like, oh my god, summer's coming.
Well, the first play they did last summer, beautiful evening, lovely. The second one, weather forecast wasn't that great, and I was chatting to them and they were saying
the heavens opened, didn't they?
Well, they said to me, we've had some really wet events, and I went, oh god, I hope this one's not too bad. And it was lovely for the first kind of hour and a bit of the play, and they'd adjusted them so that there wasn't an interval, and it's all COVID friendly, and they were doing a great job at showing everybody to their seats and sort of in character making fun of people who kind of weren't kind of sitting in the right places. I mean, it was really, really lovely. And normally they steal everybody's picnics, and of course couldn't this time, and all of that sort of stuff. And they were making it, and they changed the script to kind of really make it laughable. And it was really, really good. But about 20 minutes before they finished the play, I was doing the gate, so I was standing in the car park, and I could see the trees over towards the harbour, and the trees suddenly just moved by about 45 degrees, and I thought, oh my word!
Here we go.
Before I could get in to warn people, it hit, and it was like. It was dry, and you were absolutely soaked to the skin. And when they were packing up, they stopped for a second. They said to everybody in the crowd, would you like us to continue? And everybody went, yeah, which of course the actors, I think, have been thinking, please God.
Why did we ask that question?
Yeah.
Said, sorry,
so
we
they
can't
raced
do it
through the last 20 minutes in about 10 minutes, and it was absolutely hilarious. But there were moments where you could barely hear them, because
I was going to say, could you hear them?
Well, if they didn't speak straight into the crowd, i.e. straight into the rain, you couldn't really hear them. And they
good job they weren't wearing mics or anything like that. Can you imagine?
Yeah, no, nothing, no, pure natural amphitheater style. And I really felt for them, but they would absolutely.
But you remember it was memorable. So
I got into the car having helped clear up, but I think they asked for hot drinks, so I went over to make tea and coffee, and I brought it over in mugs. And I think there was more rainwater than there was tea by the time I got it to them. They drank those, and then we got the last stuff in the van, and then they turned around to me and went, that is the wettest event we've ever done.
That beats all of the others we've done that we were telling you about before we started.
Yes.
No. Well, that's not going to happen this time.
No, it's going to be
after COVID, we are owed some really nice weather.
Yeah.
And some really good stuff.
Chris said it was guaranteed, although I did have to put a caveat on that. So
yes. Little asterisk, yeah.
Yes. Not guaranteed. So, well, thank you for joining me, Georgie. Lovely to have you on here.
It's been really nice to be back. I've missed this. So
we'll
thank you.
We'll try and record with you lots before you head into the world of studentism.
Absolutely. Just pick your moment. Make sure that I haven't just got off the phone with payroll support.
I can't imagine that the call help that you had to do with Sage this morning would have helped your mood this morning. So I avoided that.
No, when you came through and went, "Are you ready to do the podcast?" and I was seething with
you didn't have to
steam coming out of my ears. It was like, no, not right now, Jason.
Yeah, I knew from your face it was not going to be a good moment. So
read the room, yeah.
Yeah, feel the heat from the room. You could just walk up to the front door and just touch the glass, and if it's warm, then
it's
walk
a
away.
no. Yeah, just do what they suggest in fires and put the back of your hand against the door handle and go, "It's a no today."
Yeah.
But no, it's Friday. It's all good. I'm in a much better mood now, as you can hopefully tell.
Excellent. Well, lovely to chat with you, young lady, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, speak soon.
So have you got any music recommendations? I know you've been kind of busy. You've been madly busy doing bookings and stuff. But have you managed to get back into the music and listen to anything?
Yeah, always listening in the car on the way to work, particularly. I think so. I'm listening to public service broadcasting.
Oh, I love them.
The Long Riders, who their bass player unfortunately died a couple of weeks ago, Tom Stevens, and so listening to their last album, which Psychedelic Country Soul, which is fantastic, and they're a great US alt country band. Started alt country. They were the originators of alt country, and so I love them. Loved them since the late '80s. But new music, the leader of Man the Lifeboats, great friends of ours, Rich Quarterman, has got his debut solo album out at the moment.
Oh, has he?
Under the name Quarterman, and it's Carondelet, and different feel to Man the Lifeboats, but really great. Love it. It's not stompy like a lot of their stuff is, but it is suffused with his trademark detail in the lyrics and the songwriting. He's fantastic for that, and there's some great songs on there, a couple of politically charged stuff as well, which I love from him. So there's a great song, "Oh Fisherman," which is about refugees coming across bits of water, probably the Mediterranean, I would think, but you never know, could be English Channel. And the Caledonians, another great song, some really good stuff on there, and it is out now. You can get it through his Bandcamp page, and if you get it on a Friday, as you should all know by now, they waive their fees. So Friday is a great day.
It's every Friday.
Bandcamp Friday.
Okay, so that's very cool.
Look out for that, and obviously buying the music rather than just streaming it on Spotify is what we would always suggest that you do.
Absolutely.
To support the artists.
Absolutely.
And we can have podcast exclusive if you like, just to confirm that, assuming we get to run our festival, which we are very much hoping that we do, Man the Lifeboats have very, very kindly agreed to be our special guests and open the festival up on the Thursday evening.
Oh, superb.
So a great reason to make that extra special effort to get here on the Thursday evening if you're booked in to stay with us, because they will be that'd be great. Really look forward to that.
Yeah, that'd be good. We'd miss them.
And then Rich is going to do a solo set with stuff off his new album on the Friday.
Oh, superb.
So yeah.
That's fantastic.
So,
we've been busy kind of preparing for reopening, so I haven't had a chance to update the festival website, but Chris has been very busy adding new acts, so there'll be a whole lot of new stuff on there fairly soon, and we're still working on kind of exactly the sort of layout plans and how we're going to adjust things, but exciting lineup, which is going to be really great. And there are still a few camping pitches left, aren't there? I think
there are. Yes,
there's not tons, but there is a few.
There are a few non-electric camping pitches left. We're completely sold out at the moment for electric pitches, and in terms of day tickets, we haven't got any on sale at the moment. We're going to wait and see what the outcome of the the government review is in June before
Yeah.
we make any decision on that. So
And watch how other festivals run and
the
limits.
I think in our favour, we are a small event compared to some of the other events that are looking to run in July and August. So it will be interesting to see how they get on.
Yeah.
And then we can work from there. But at the moment, optimistic to run it. I'm really pleased with the lineup, and it'll be a great weekend.
Yeah, it'll be really good. Outsiders by Richard Quarterman.
The Countryside Code,
the newly revamped, slightly watered down, I feel, possibly wishy-washy Countryside Code. Heart in the right place, and yes, and really want people to take it seriously.
So the Countryside Code has been around in one form or another for sort of well over 30 years now, I think. It's been around for a good long time, but the government have just produced the latest version of the Countryside Code, and in addition to that, the North Norfolk Coast AONB partnership has produced the Coastal Code. But the Countryside Code is essentially just a set of guidelines, really, as to sort of how to protect, respect and enjoy the countryside. Those are the sort of the three main headings. And so we don't need to go through all of the various different points, because it's all available. If you Google Countryside Code, go and find it, take a look.
You're writing a blog post about it on Deepdale Farm.
We're going to put together a blog post which basically is going to sort of summarise what it means for us, because the Countryside Code is something which applies to you if you're going out to the countryside. You might be in a nature reserve or on a beach or in a park, or you're probably going to be somewhere around farmland. And we are a farm here with a campsite and a backpackers. We're doing things in a much more wildlife oriented way in the future. So there are certain things that we really, really need people to sort of look out for when they're coming to the North Norfolk Coast this summer. One of the things will be that we know that over the last year, a lot of people have got now dogs. They've probably got younger dogs. They maybe got themselves a puppy.
And probably haven't spent a lot of time in the countryside.
Maybe haven't spent a lot of time in the countryside. And the wildlife trusts have come out with a campaign recently, which is Take the Lead. Which is a really lovely campaign, which is basically just asking people when they're on reserves and various other places to make sure that your dog's on a lead. We have seals here on Brancaster Beach. We've got lots of wildlife around the place. We've got ground nesting birds, and dogs can be a disturbance and a danger to all of these animals. So it's really, really important that people remember to keep their dogs under control. And the easiest way to do that is basically just keep your dog on a lead. Yeah. Also, the other thing with dogs is if your dog is gonna poop, you need to bag it and bin it. And that doesn't mean hanging your bag in a hedge or off a tree. There is no such thing as a poo fairy that removes it magically for you. So take some bags, and you can get biodegradable dog poop bags.
Sell those in the information centre if you can't find them anywhere else.
Lovely. And take your bags with you. And it's really important that you bag it and bin it, particularly if you're around farmland. Dog poo actually contains toxins. It contains potentially things like neosporosis. And the consequences for wildlife if they accidentally ingest this stuff is very bad. So it's really important for people to basically, remove and take away.
Yeah.
There's various other things to be aware of. Just look at the Countryside Code for some general guidance.
One of the things is making sure that you follow trails that are marked.
Yeah.
Don't just kind of, a field may look like it's not doing anything, but I can guarantee you it is doing something, even if it's being left like that on purpose, just for wildlife. All the fields, all the hedgerows, everything are doing something. They've got a purpose in them. People don't just leave them empty for no reason. So please follow trails that have signposts. The UK is covered in public footpaths, and they are signposted on the whole really, really well. Particularly in Norfolk, we've got the Norfolk Trails team who do a brilliant job at going out. I think there's a really easy way of reporting any damage or any issues with walks and cycle routes. You just go onto the County Council website, click on highways and click on report an issue, and it's dead easy. You can put in the GPS coordinates, they know exactly where it is, and they're really efficient at coming out and fixing stuff. So
yeah.
And one of the things that's come up in a lot of farming blogs is wear the right shoes, because some footpaths will be muddy. When it's wet, they will be muddy. You can't go and start wandering through fields which could have wildlife nesting in them, could be crops that are valuable. You need to stick to where the paths are, and occasionally they will be muddy. It is the countryside. You just have to deal with it. White trainers, probably not the thing to wear unless you don't want them to be white anymore. Wear a pair of walking boots or a pair of wellies. You can get wellies pretty cheaply now, but wear something that is suitable for where you're walking. Don't wear flip-flops and then think, oh, I'll avoid the muddy bit by walking all the way around it. It's just becomes a headache for things. And like we hope to open up some permissive bridleways when we can. The government changed the rules with the stewardship, so we can't include them in our stewardship scheme, unfortunately, but we're hoping that that's something that we're working on. We're talking with FWAG, which is the Farming and Wildlife Advisory Group, who have helped us put our stewardship scheme together, and we're trying to identify ways that we can have more permissive access. But the trouble is, it's very off-putting if people don't respect where it is you put those in. So it's really important. Come to the countryside, enjoy it. We all want to welcome you. You know, our businesses here really want to welcome you, but we also need to really respect the fact that there's incredible wildlife in the out here in the countryside, and it needs your help, not your hindrance.
Yeah, we've got ground nesting birds basically are out on farmland and on fields at the moment. So lapwings, avocets, you know, these are birds that are looking for nesting sites, or they are nesting right now. They are laying eggs. Lapwing eggs are brown, sort of speckled little things that are designed to blend in. You know, you don't notice these things until you're right on top of them. It's very, very important to stick to footpaths if a footpath is available. And actually, you know, it's worth not assuming that you have access through a field unless you actually can see a sign that tells you that you have access. This also extends to basically fly camping or wild camping. There is no wild camping in the UK outside of Dartmoor, and even that at the moment I think is probably being
they've
restricted.
got quite serious restrictions. They're trying to sort of they're trying to work out kind of where fly camping finishes and destruction of local environment starts. But there's ongoing discussion.
So generally speaking, the thing to assume is that, you know, if you are coming out and you've got a camper van, you have a tent, you need to have ideally planned ahead, which is one of the things the Countryside Code asks you to do. Plan ahead, check ahead, book ahead. Yeah. Now we are dying to welcome people back to Deepdale camping, but places like field edges and laybys are not campsites. So it's worth remembering that you actually don't have access, and you're not entitled to sleep in these places overnight.
And there is an awful lot of campsites along the coast, but they do get busy in peak time. So, you know, phone ahead, look on the internet is an amazing place. It has a lot of rubbish on it, but it also has some incredibly useful information, like where to find a campsite, we try and make sure we keep our availability up to date on things like Google Maps and, you know, that kind of thing. But if you're not sure, give us a call. We'd love to chat with you and see how you're doing. And we'd love to welcome you. You know, we're really looking forward to welcoming back tents and camper vans. And I know it's been really tough for the last year in finding places to be able to stay when we're not in lockdown. But, you know, give us a call. We'd love you to come and stay. And if we can accommodate you, we will.
Yeah,
that's the way
absolutely.
to do it.
I think we're all really looking forward to seeing you know, a bunch of people coming back here and seeing, you know, a lot of life on the North Norfolk Coast.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, there's just some basics of behaviour. You know, litter is another really basic one. Don't buy a disposable barbecue. There are various different problems with disposable.
Almost
barbecue.
nothing recyclable about a disposable barbecue. It gives the appeal of it, but it just doesn't. Buy one of those bucket barbecues if you're desperate to have a barbecue, and use that so that you can actually reuse it.
So I think, you know, we don't want to sound like meanies, and we don't want to go on and everything, but, you know, because the point of the Countryside Code is to respect, protect and enjoy. You know, we really want people to enjoy the place, but yeah.
And if you know, the team in the information centre, really happy to explain to you great places to walk, great places to visit, places you can take your dog. So just call in, have a chat with them. They're really happy to help you. They'll show you big maps and show you where things are, give you lots of local information. It's a great resource. It's free to use, and the team would love to see you. So come and see us.
And also, if you're coming to stay at Deepdale this year and you're interested in what's happening on the farm, have a word with the guys in the tourism office, in the visitor information office. And if I'm around, I can come down and have a chat with people. You know, we're really happy to talk about what we're doing here.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll build up a sort of a programme of sort of, you know, farm walks and stuff so that we can explain what we're doing. So keep an eye on our website for those, and ask in the office, and we'll let you know. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Deepdale Podcast. You can subscribe to our podcast through any good podcast sites, including Apple, Google, Castbox, where we host our podcast. Just type in Deepdale Podcast to your favourite provider and we should be there. We love your feedback, so please do email us your thoughts and suggestions to podcast@deepdalefarm.co.uk. But in the meantime, if you'd like to listen to previous episodes, you can find them on your podcast provider or head to our website, deepdalecamping.co.uk or deepdalefarm.co.uk, to see the whole back catalogue. The December 2020 episode is a must, as Chris gives us his music release recommendations for 2020. Thanks again for listening. Stay safe and well in these strange times, and hope we'll see you back at Deepdale in the not too distant future.
Skies all open wide, geese go high and over. Oh, now you're a beachcomber, a fistful of sandfire, sea, lavender, sea.